Lowe's knows you've got a job to do, and we help get it done. With the MyLowe's Pro Rewards program, eligible members save more with volume discounts on qualifying orders through a quote of $2,000 or more. Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Offer can't be combined with any other discount, contract, and/or special pricing. Exclusions, more terms, and restrictions apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss, Paulie Howard with you. We are live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Thanks for watching today on YouTube TV, listening on Sirius XM Channel 158, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, or any of our great affiliates across the country. On the program, professional sports bettor Chuck Edel with three of his best bets for the weekend coming up in 30 minutes. VSiN host Mike Somich, an hour from right now. He always has sides, totals, player props, ladders, the whole shebang. And Tony Rizzo on the program, legend in the Cleveland area, ESPN Radio in Cleveland. He'll be on the show after watching Joe Flacco get shipped out of that city to an intra-division rival last night, and he lit the Steelers on fire, Paulie. Mm-hmm. That is now three straight Thursday nights where the big dog has won outright, and in primetime games, 7 of the last 8 dogs winners as well. And I will say, I think so far, year to date, that's been the best game that we've had in the entire NFL. And there's a good chance that's going to be the best primetime game. I got reaction to this last night on X. People said, slow down, Cowboy. Bills, Ravens better? Ravens completely crapped the bed and fell apart in that game.
Yeah.
Last night was spectacular, man.
Yeah, it was. And win-lose is going to be crazy.
Oh, boy.
With all the props that cash. $100 parlay on the 4 tight ends to score was $97,000.
How do we not think?
It was crazy.
Here's the thing.
Well, Pat's been on a milk carton, that's why.
Well, but not even
Pat gets 2.
I never would have thought of him. But we were all about how many times did we say that yesterday? It's going to be the tight end showdown tonight. But I'm not geared to think of like same game parlays.
Well, I also didn't think they all would score. To think about that as well. That the Smith.
I know we had listeners who did.
Yeah.
Chris, who owns Naked City Pizza out here, dynamite, best wings in town, some of the best pizza as well. He listened yesterday. 83-1 parlay he cashed.
Yeah, saw that. Excellent job. Well done. I feel good too because I got Flacco fever, baby. And
here we go again.
I'm back. I'm in. Absolutely. They can do this.
Okay, you asked me again on like Tuesday. Yeah. You said you were all in then. They're live, baby.
They are.
Well, how nuts do you want to get?
Yeah, they're going to have a chance in all these games. It'd be nice if they could stop something at some point. But you might as well just trade Hendrickson because, he's hurt, and then what good is he because they're so bad defensively. But 342 and 3 touchdowns, and they just signed the guy. And then, we got the rushing game going finally. So as I said, if they protect him and give him time to throw, he's going to pick them apart. And he did. But then again, what a luxury it is to just say, I'm throwing the ball 20 times to Chase. Go ahead and stop me. And how Pittsburgh decided to defend him, which was also egregious as well. But between Fant and Dre and Higgins and Chase, I mean, he's got a ton of weapons, man. And now you can just sit back there and sling it all day. Just to think, and boy, does Cleveland look terrible. They look like an absolute hot dog stand.
Yeah, but here's the thing. And I know that Rizzo's going to go scorched earth in 90 minutes. This was never going to happen in Cleveland. He doesn't have Jamar Chase.
It doesn't matter.
He doesn't have T. Higgins.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's that you helped them out. We'll hear from Tony in a second. It's that you helped them out. But you're right. It was a great game, and you have hope now. It wasn't like you came in and you didn't have a win when you made the trade. You still had 2 wins. So based on the schedule coming up, and who knows what happens when you play Baltimore, too. Can you imagine those games if everyone's healthy? You've got to put up a 60 for a total when they play coming up on Thanksgiving. But it's just, we thought the Steelers were fugazi. And again, the thing that continues to bother me is what's going on the defensive side of the ball, what happened in week 1 against the Jets. And I don't understand why Metcalf has a 40-yard catch on the first drive, and then you don't hear from him again. Which the offense wasn't the problem, but still, I mean, we'd think with that rapport that they have, you should be able to do what you want and get Metcalf. Now, the interception was his fault. That was funky, where you can't let the DB take the ball away from you there. Stronger hands, come on. But that game was awesome.
Well, and here's the reason why I think Metcalf probably did not have a zillion yards last night. The Bengals are the worst team at the guarding tight ends. And every tight end was eating last night.
Yeah.
Literally 3 of those scored touchdowns for Pittsburgh. So you're gung-ho here about the Bengals. You love them. You want to grab plus 450 to win the division. Do you want to grab 3-1 to make the playoffs? To me, it was a bigger indictment on Pittsburgh. Thought that they were fugazi going into the game, and oh my God, was that solidified last night.
Okay, yeah, but what about the second half against Green Bay, though? They could have won that game. They were in position to get the ball back down 6.
Yeah.
After they were down big.
I also don't agree. I don't agree with how good people think Green Bay is.
Yeah.
And I don't want to poo-poo everything that the Bengals did, but I will remind you though, the first 7, 8, 10 minutes of that game, it was a comedy of errors. You want to talk about a team screwing everything up to begin a game? It was Cincinnati. Missed tackles, blown assignments, drop passes.
Yeah.
It was one thing after another. And the body language looked like crap. And then they just turned it around. And somehow Flacco put it together in the Steelers' defense. And overall, they are completely overrated, and they're going absolutely nowhere this year. I still think it's hilarious that a 1-5 team basically has the same odds right now as Pittsburgh at 4-2 to win that division.
That is hilarious. Mm-hmm.
But you can't, like, Flacco, is he going to win comeback player of the year again? Is he even eligible for the award?
Yeah.
But I'm not.
How about the fact that he's beat the Steelers with every team in the division?
Right.
That'll never happen again. That's awesome. But Jets, Bears, Steelers, Patriots coming up. 3 of them are at home.
Yeah.
And hello, running game.
I'm not going to be Debbie Downer. You love them. That's great. I'm also not going to tell you that, I'm not going to say they're worthless and they have no chance, but I'm not going to be the other way as well. I'm kind of right in the middle.
All right. Now, here's where I understand where you're coming from. They didn't have those weapons. It wasn't going to work, even though we had Flacco fever a couple years ago. I understand, based on the team. But here's where I'm at. You look like an absolute minor league operation when you make that trade and you give your rival hope. You thought they were one of the worst teams in the league, and you were probably accurate.
Oh, they were absolutely.
It's okay, fine.
Yes.
So it was a bad move because Tomlin was pissed off. He said it. I don't know what Andrew Berry's doing. What's he thinking? That's how they're feeling right now. The level of frustration. Tony Rizzo earlier today, ESPN Cleveland.
How could you do that, Andrew? How could you do it? Why on earth did you feel the need to trade this guy to a division opponent for a 5th-round draft pick? Fireable offense. That is a fireable offense. I want to know how much longer the owner's going to watch this crap, because the fans have had it. We deserve better. You're worried more about your stadium than you are your football team. That's the perception, Jimmy. And you allow these people to do this. You have the worst offense in the league. Your GM screwed this quarterback thing up like I've never seen in my life. I've never seen anything like it. Kids that play Madden could have done a better job. Truly. That's not hyperbole. It's a joke. It's a joke. This franchise has become a joke.
That's a great rant.
Yep.
That's also 35 years of pain and misery right there.
It is. I know. A lot of frustration. Pickett, Flacco, Gabriel, Sanders. Are they going to go back to Watson? That horrible trade. Oh. And then you just take Flacco and you give him to Cincinnati and you gave them life. And it looked like that on national TV as he goes off and had a huge game.
Now, how about this, too? Flacco admitted after the game that he had trouble understanding play calls that head coach Zach Taylor was sending in. He said, quote, there was a handful of plays today that I was like, what is he even saying? We have these formations that end in F, and I was not getting it. So he didn't even know the plays, and the Steelers had no chance of stopping him. That's just brutal.
Yeah. Also,
a couple of other things. The players who dropped the ball at the goal line have gotten shredded, rightfully so. I mean, you are still not over the Arizona loss.
No, right.
So all I can do is salute T. Higgins for doing the exact correct thing at the very end of that game. And he
really?
Yeah.
Ooh,
and
I thought that was a little risky.
No.
Because it was a 36-yard field goal. Go ahead.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
But he made the Steelers burn their timeouts and got the ball back with like 7 seconds left. More on that in a second. Instead of scoring that touchdown because he was going to easily get in. And then the Steelers have those timeouts left. And they have 90 seconds to work with, thereabouts, and the Bengals weren't going to stop them to save their lives.
Right. I know.
A tight end, I don't know who it was, but a tight end said in the huddle, if there's a breakaway, make sure you slide down.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
Yep.
Well, still, I know the 36-yard field goal, not a gimme. Imagine what would have happened if he would have missed. But I'd like to be closer in that situation, but still.
I think it's still.
I know. Yeah. Michaels loved it. I know that. I mean, he said, salute. That's an unbelievable job.
That's what I thought.
So-
I almost gave the guy a standing ovation in my house. And I have T. Higgins in a huge fantasy league.
Oh, tough
and
one.
I thought it was the right play. I don't even care.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's,
Yeah.
I was so smart. I was like, that's what every player should do. Also, this has to be talked about. Aaron Rodgers threw that Hail Mary 70 yards in the air. Now, I know people are shredding DK Metcalf. Hey, buddy, can you make a better effort next time? The Rodgers Hail Mary thing now his entire career?
It's the best ever at it.
Do you not hold your breath for like 3 seconds thinking, oh, my God, this is going to get to the... They have a chance.
Got it done? Yeah. He looked good, too. Yeah.
I agree.
Played well. But this is, I don't think you can get too... nothing's crazy. And getting carried away with the Cincinnati love. Based on the schedule that's coming up, and he can just see the weapons that he has. I mean, it's right there. Go shotgun, protect them. Hello, running game. Here's a little Chase, a little Fant, a little Higgins, and good luck. I'm going to move the ball on you. And I can do this. And 3-1 to make the playoffs isn't crazy. And if something happens to Lamar again, those could be 2 wins against Cooper Rush in a span of 3 weeks as well. Come on, man. Come on.
Well, tell me exactly what you want to do here with the bets. Do you want to bet Flacco to win the MVP? What if he steadies the ship and they win the division?
Oh, God.
Can you imagine that?
Well, it's an all-time gift from Cleveland. I'll tell you that.
Remember, he pulled off the comeback player of the year 2 years ago, and he played 5 games.
Yeah, off the couch.
Yeah.
If that won't happen again in terms of the comeback, but that's just, they couldn't get a first down in Cleveland. Now he comes in, they look like the 07 Patriots.
It's astonishing. And everything got there last night.
Oh, everything.
I mean,
except the Boswell. I scored 30 points. I can't get 2 field goals. Yeah. And then I would have cashed the 14-1 too.
There was a big 3rd and 4 that they picked up.
Yep.
And I think a field goal would have tied the game. They would have kicked it right there.
I would have had the 14-1. I know.
What was the 14-1? Touchdown field goal each half?
Both teams, yeah.
Okay, damn.
Yeah. Well, 5 field goals in the game, 4 by McPherson.
Yeah. Up next, we'll dive into Week 7. Wide receivers have gone to die when facing this defense. We'll start running down the games on Sunday next on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
All right, time to get some best bets here from professional sports bettor Chuck Edel, the defending champ in the Friday Football Circa Invitational. This year tied for 6th, 23-19 overall, 4-2 in his best bets. Joins us every single Friday at this time, and he is on the Progressive guest line. Chuck, good afternoon. Thanks for the time as always. How are you?
Great. Yeah, glad to be here.
Okay, we'll get a couple of college plays here momentarily, but let's begin with a bet that you like in the NFL. We're on the same side of this one. The Cleveland Browns are laying 2.5 at home against Miami. The total now has dropped a good 3.5 points to 37. What is your angle here on this game?
Yeah, obviously the weather has a big part of the game. They're expecting 27 to 36 mile per hour winds, gusting from 50 to 60. They're saying 100% chance of rain. So it looks like one of those nasty days. And obviously it favors the under as well. And as you said, it's been bet down from 41.5 down to 37. It's probably still a good play at 37, but I didn't feel like I did grab some of that early. But I think it also favors Cleveland big time. You know, this Miami team has been built over the years on speed, big plays, going downfield. Cleveland's just the opposite. They're big, physical. They don't push the ball down the field, as we know. They like those short passes, and they like to pound the ball. The big advantage comes with the Cleveland defensive line. They're the best in the NFL. They're only allowing 3.1 yards per carry on rushing. Their defense is solid against the pass as well. Meanwhile, on the flip side, Miami is 30th in the NFL against the run. They're giving up 5.6 yards per carry. I mean, that's you don't see that happen too often. Their last 2 games, they've been even allowing more than that, 6.5 yards per carry in their last 2 games. The kid for Carolina ran for 200 yards. And, with the weather, obviously, the game looks like a ground and pound type of game. And Cleveland's run game has been much improved. You know, the Judkins missed the first couple of games. He was in some trouble. Since he's been playing, He's playing very well. It seems like he gets better every game you watch him. He's averaging 4.6 yards per carry. And Cleveland doesn't, they're set up for the short, quick passes. That's their offense. And so I think everything favors Cleveland, and then you throw in all the turmoil that's going on there in Miami. I mean, Tua complaining about guys not showing up for meetings. I mean, it's a little bit of a mess over there, as I'm sure you guys have talked about. So I think Cleveland on their home field -2.5 looks like a ripe spot to me.
Okay, you're all about spots as well. BYU's off a double overtime thriller. They're at home against Utah. Utah was great. Has an easy time of it last week. How about the Utes laying 3?
Yeah, I do like Utah here. BYU is 6-0. Utah's 5-1. Utah's had a much tougher schedule. Their only loss is to, I think, one of the most underrated teams in the country, Texas Tech. That's the Utah loss. Meanwhile, BYU's had a soft schedule. They've only beat one team with the winning record, and that was a game that went into double overtime with Arizona. Both teams are similar. They both like to run the ball. BYU does have some problems with athletic quarterbacks, and that's what Utah has. The kid who transferred from New Mexico, he could run the ball. They faced 2 of them this year. They faced West Virginia, who had a quarterback starting for the first time. He put up 89 yards on him, and then Salter, the kid for Colorado, he ran the ball very well versus BYU. Utah averages 5.6 yards per carry running the ball. Their defense is playing well, only allowing 13.8 points a game. They're averaging 39.5. Now, BYU's stats are similar. If you look at their offensive, defensive stats, they have some good numbers as well. But I think Utah, with a tougher schedule, they also have the edge with the speed. And BYU has had some problems with the speed. And this is another thing with BYU. With this coach over the Sataki, since he's been there, they have a horrible record versus top 25 teams. They're able to take advantage of some of these other teams, but when they step up in class, they've really struggled. I think Utah -3. I think they take care of business here.
Okay, one more college game here, and it's Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest is professional sports bettor Chuck Edel, and he is on the Progressive Guest Line. Last year, Baylor and TCU played a game that had a lot of fireworks. Baylor got them 37-34 in that matchup. Total in this game is around 65. Are you expecting similar results here on Saturday?
I am. It's a pretty simple handicap, when you really get down to it. But, you have 2 solid quarterbacks. The quarterback for Baylor, Robertson, leads the country in passing and touchdowns. And then the quarterback for TCU, Hoover, is second in the country throwing the ball and touchdowns. Baylor's offense has been great. They're averaging 494 yards a game, 9th in the country. And another thing that I always do look at when I'm playing a total is how many plays do they like to get off the game? And Baylor's playing very fast, 75.5 plays a game. Now they're going to go up against the TCU defense, not playing well. They're giving up 5 yards per play. Last week, they gave up 41 points to a Kansas State, not a prolific offense. They gave up 41 points to them. And, TCU, they want to throw the ball, and so does Baylor. This season, TCU's thrown the ball 222 times compared to 182 rush attempts. In 4 of their last 5 games, they put up 35 or more points. Baylor's defense has given up 27 or more points to every Division I school they have played, and they haven't played an offense probably as good as this TCU offense is. And, in a competitive game, which, it's a 3-point line, looks like a very competitive game, I don't think neither team will be taking their foot off the gas pedal. If it was a blowout, if a team was favored by 17, you might say, well, they're going to be up by, let's say they're up by 2 touchdowns. They might take the air out of the ball. But this game, I don't see either team taking the foot off the gas pedal because it appears that on paper it's going to be a close game. I don't think they're going to be, burning up much clock. So I do like it to go over the total.
Very good. Chuck, thanks so much for the time as always. Good luck in the contest this weekend. And overall, we appreciate the time.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
There you go. He's the
Chuck.
defending champ here on the Friday Football Invitational at Circa and on VSiN. Tied for 6th and right now 4-2 in his best bets. And Browns -2.5, Utah -3, Baylor TCU over 65. Are you coming around at all on enough to fire on the Browns this weekend?
Yep.
Okay.
You got Miami in the elements. Tua's lost his last 9 road neutral games, 1-8. He mentioned the controversy, and he comes out with the apology and what happened. Bad stuff going on in the locker room. I know the under took a hit, but with bad weather and the fact that Cleveland can't score as well, 11 straight games they haven't topped 17 points. Probably turned the ball over. Remember this game they played late last year. It was ugly. Miami got the win, but that was DTR, one of the worst quarterbacks in NFL history. But I'm coming around to Cleveland. And base, you just run the ball, and that should be enough. I also can't do anything with Waller props just because the weather's so bad.
I don't disagree.
Tua's got a hot dog arm, noodle arm. So if it's going to be that windy, he's not going to do anything through the air, and I can't go with Waller props.
Well,
the dump offs to 8chan will probably be there, but other than that, who knows? I can't even recommend Waddle, and I've been high on him the last couple of weeks.
How about on the flip side, for Cleveland, David Njoku was out of this game.
Mm-hmm.
So that two-headed monster at tight end is going to be down to 1. His name is Harold Fannin. He's a dynamite rookie. Will Gabriel look just to here you go, 5 yards, boom, pal.
That's it.
Catches 4.5 for Fannin this week, and the yards are between 35. Definitely shop around as always, between 35.5 and 40.5 on Harold Fannin.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I think if anybody does anything in the air in this game, I think Fannin's the guy that I want to go to war with. But the Junkins prop, did you see where this went? It was 78.5 early in the week. It's now 93.5 in the game. So we thought that we had a big mover last night on DK Metcalf. It moved a good 8 yards. His rushing yards prop is now up a good 15 yards overall. And the Opta AI projections at vsin.com, they have him going way under. They're projecting 71 yards and only 16 attempts. The Miami defense can't stop anybody.
What's your favorite stat? Carolina's lost 10 in a row, straight up, and ATS is a favorite. Cleveland hasn't scored more than 17 points 11 games in a row. Or when he's favored by more than a touchdown, Mahomes is 36-2 straight up going back. Give me your best one.
I'm going to say the Brown stat.
Yeah, because in today's NFL, and all these different quarterbacks you throw in there, and you still can't get it to work.
Nothing works, and then they trade Flacco again. And that's why we played that soundbite from Tony Rizzo earlier, who's going to join the program on ESPN Cleveland. He lost his mind again today. Again, losing their mind for 3 decades. Can't get it right. How about the offensive line actually making it work last night, too?
I know. That's crazy.
What is going on?
And the gashing them on the ground. Whatever they wanted. It's like a whole different team.
I think that, the passing stuff, because Chase is so good, and Higgins is also, top-notch. I also don't mind Fant. I mean, as a receiving tight end, I think he'd be pretty good. I don't think the ground game is going to be a thing. I think that just, again, Pittsburgh alarms are going off here.
Well, I would be concerned about Cincinnati's run defense, though. How easy that was for Warren. I mean, come on. Well, he just pitch played 15 yards. Sweep 15 yards.
I know.
Come on.
Anything they wanted with him or the tight ends. Lordy. Win some, lose some coming up next. And mama, Paulie's going to detail the incredible bets that cashed last night during a phenomenal Thursday tilt here on VSiN.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
This hour sponsored by Better. Better Picks, the daily fantasy sports app where your sports knowledge turns into real cash fast. Download Better. Visit better.app now. Sign up today. Free money. No deposit necessary. BETR. Better.app now.
And more best bets now as we head out to the Progressive guest line as VSiN host Mike Somich joins the program. Ready, set, bet on the weekends, but also twice a week with the Sharp Money podcast available wherever you get your podcast. Mike, good afternoon. Let's begin with a team that you're going to buy a little bit low on right now, and it's the champs, Philadelphia, at this price right now, 1.5-point favorites against Minnesota. They have extended rest. The Vikings have to buy as well. But why do you like the Philadelphia Eagles here in this game?
Yeah, look, the rest kind of cancels each other out. You do have the Vikings off the bye, but you're coming off a pretty brutal Thursday night loss to the Giants for the Eagles. You're going to get an extra motivation from the Eagles off of that loss. But to me, this is about the quarterback position for the Vikings. As late as Tuesday, we were hearing press conferences from Coach Kevin O'Connell where he was talking about, well, we don't know who our starter is going to be. Wentz has a shoulder problem. J.J. McCarthy went in for a second opinion. He's 4 to 6 weeks on his ankle. Then you have the OC come out and talk a lot about Max Brosner. that just tells me that this is a real injury for Carson Wentz, who did get announced as the starter today. He's dealing with his throwing shoulder. I'm willing to say that he is not going to be 100% in this spot. I have the Eagles as 2.5 to 3 point favorites when I run my numbers in this spot. I think the market is really sold on the Eagles. I'm not high on them long term, and I actually thought I had them lower than a lot of the market. But I can't get to under a field goal here, especially if Carson Wentz is any way, shape, or form a little bit less than 100% with his throwing shoulder. The weapons on the outside and Addison Jefferson are a concern, but this is a spot where you should expect the Eagles to come out and play one of their better games of the season, expecting to get some health back on the defensive side of the ball for the Eagles here as well. This is a huge game for Philadelphia. I think they come out and they take care of business in Minnesota. I'm happy to lay the 1.5. I'd lay it up to 2.5.
Okay, let's get to the big game on Sunday night between the 49ers and the Falcons. Here's the news that just came down moments ago. Brock Purdy ruled out. Ricky Pearsall, it's official. He's also out of this game. You like a couple of different bets involving the Falcons, yeah?
Yeah, I'm all over the Falcons here. We'll start out with just a prop because it gets into the handicap on the full game as well. Fred Warner is a huge loss for this defense, and no one can deny that one. Obviously, without Bosa, the pass rush was affected. Warner was the number one linebacker graded out by PFF in the NFL, full stop. Not just on this 49ers team, but he was huge in the run stop, huge in coverage. That's going to be a big problem for a San Francisco team that struggled against the run last year, is entrusting their run stop unit now to rookies on that side of the football. I'm not sure how this San Francisco team consistently gets stops on the defensive side. I think Bijan Robinson goes absolutely nuts. It's another game where you should expect the Falcons to try and run the football. His prop sitting at 80.5, 81.5. I'm going to go toward the over here. I think he has a shot for another 100-yard game, and his explosive plays should be a big problem here for this 49ers defense that just lost their best run defender, their green dot defender. I think this is a great spot for Atlanta. I also took them on the money line. I don't see how they score or how San Francisco is able to keep up with this Atlanta team. This is already a defense I was down on in San Francisco before the Warner loss. Now you're losing that really your leader inside that defense. You're left with one player who I think is above the average grade there in Lenore at the cornerback position. But this is a Falcons offense that I thought looked awesome on Monday night. We got to see Drake London get going. We saw Penix, when he is not pressured, be able to successfully distribute the ball to his set of wide receivers. He's not going to get pressured in this game against San Francisco. They have one of the lowest pressure rates since they lost Bosa. Now they're losing Warner. This is a spot where Bijan and Algier should be able to run all over them, and you should have effectiveness in the passing game due to the lack of pass rush. So I love the Falcons here. I took them on the money line, and I started them out in a teaser as well. Since they're sitting at plus 2.5, you can take them up to 8.5. And the team that I decided to pair them up with was the Colts. You can catch the Colts at plus 7.5 when you tease them up 6 points here. I like the Chargers. I think I'm slightly higher than the market on the Chargers, and I don't love this Colts defense. But that being said, this Colts offense should legitimately be a top 5 offense for the entire season based on what we have seen from the hierarchy and their ability at each of the position groups. This is a top 5 offensive line. Tyler Warren is an absolutely legit wide receiver 1/tight end 1, whatever you want to call it. They're going to be able to scheme it up for him to be able to get open on the outside. You got Pierce, you've got Pittman Jr. out there, and then you've got Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. I don't see the Chargers being able to keep the Colts offense down. And if that is the case, even though I think the Colts defense is overrated at this point, currently number 7 in the DVOA, I do think you're going to see a game where this stays within one score, where the Colts can answer anytime the Chargers are able to score. And I do have concerns around this Chargers offensive line, which has been just absolutely decimated over the last 3 or 4 weeks after losing their left tackle in the offseason as well. So I'll go ahead and I'll team up the Falcons plus the 8.5 with the Colts plus 8.5 as a two-team 6-point teaser.
You've been on this team since day one. Every game has gone under except one. That's when they played Baltimore, who can't stop anything. What do you think of Monday night, Houston-Seattle total?
I think you got to go back to the well here. We got to go back to the under. It's funny that people kind of forgot that the Houston Texans still can't score points. Now, you had that game against Baltimore that you referenced. They put up 44. Baltimore was playing their JV squad on defense. That's the only reason that this Houston team was able to be effective offensively. We saw Woody Marks have a good game there. We saw Nico Collins get going in the passing game as well. This Seattle defense is a very different animal than what Houston was facing when they took on that shell of the Baltimore defense. Seattle has an awesome defensive line. They're able to absolutely stop the run, which is going to put a ton of pressure on this passing attack for the Texans, one that has not been effective in every single game except for that game against Baltimore. You can expect consistent pressure up the middle from this Seattle Seahawks defensive front. If that's the case, it's going to make CJ Stroud's life absolutely difficult. And you flip it around, and one of the reasons I love these unders on the Texans side, they've got a really good defense. They're going to put pressure on Sam Darnold with their 2 edge rushers. You've got multiple cornerbacks that can line up across from JSN and try and slow him down, something that no one has been able to do yet. And you've got a team that is a little bit weaker against the run in Houston, which I like as well. It feels like Seattle's going to try and grind this game out. You're going to see a lot of Kenneth Walker. You're going to see a lot of Charbonnet. You're going to see them want to dominate the game on the ground and with their defense, just like we saw last week when they were facing Jacksonville in Jacksonville. I think it's a great spot to look at the under here. You can still get a 41 out in the market. There's a 41.5 available. I'll take the under 41.5 here. And kind of on that same note, Nick Chubb's prop is sitting at 36.5 yards on the rushing side. I want to look to the under here. This is a Seattle team that's been top 2 in every defensive run metric that we've seen all season long. Again, that the 2 D tackles are absolute dudes for this Seattle team. They're going to make it really difficult for a guy like Nick Chubb to be able to gain yards up the middle, which means he's got to go outside. That is not his strength. That's Woody Mark's strength. And that's the other piece of this, is that we're coming off the bye. And we saw with Luther Burden, he got more run with the Bears off the bye as a rookie. We saw with Matthew Golden, he gets more run with the Packers off the bye. These rookies start getting inserted more and more in these offensive game plans off the bye. I think Marks seriously eats into Chubb's workload on Monday night as well, because he is the more explosive running back for this Texans teams, which needs to find explosive plays. So combining the fact that you've got Chubb facing a very good interior of the defensive line, and on top of that, you also have Woody Marks, who I think takes away carries from him. I'm happy to get in on under 34.5 rush yards for Nick Chubb, who just doesn't have explosive plays in him anymore.
It's the highest total between Washington and Dallas since 1980. We're at 54.5. What do you think happens from what Washington does offensively, even though they're dealing with some injuries?
Look, this is one of those spots where, like, I do think that both of these teams move the football. The look ahead on this was 51.5. We reopened at 52.5. That thing shot right up. We got as high as 55 in the market before it came back down, and it makes total sense, right? This is a Dallas team that can effectively move the football against pretty much any defense after what they saw to Green Bay, and it's a Washington team that is able to counter and has the weapons to be able to do so. To me, I want to look at Jaden Daniels here, because his passing yard prop seems drastically too low against a Dallas Cowboys team that has been a little bit better against the run and been absolutely atrocious against the pass. This is a Commanders team that's going to look to throw the football. If it turns into a shootout, all the better for taking Daniels over passing yards prop. He's sitting at 231.5. I love him over that number. That feels way too low in a game where we're expecting 54 points. On top of it, you can go 300 yards or more at plus 380 as well. So I'm all over Jaden Daniels. I think he has a big game against this Cowboys secondary that made Russell Wilson look like a Hall of Famer, made Caleb Williams get right. Like, let's not forget how bad this Cowboys secondary has been in past weeks.
Well said. So McLaurin is officially out. That came down today. Who do you think? Do you have an opinion on who's going to eat in the air when Daniels racks up all these passing yards?
If I wanted to get a little crazy here, you want to play a little same game action, it's Luke McCaffrey for me. Okay. Is the wide receiver that I want to target. I mean, I understand Deebo Samuels is there, but he doesn't really take the top off defenses that we've seen in the past. The one thing we've seen this Dallas defense struggle consistently is stopping the deep ball. I think that Luke McCaffrey is the wide receiver that can stretch the field, like his longest reception over. If you want to ladder his reception yards and put it with Daniels 300, I think that makes a lot of sense, because you're going to need 1 or 2 shots down the field for Daniels to get to 300 anyway, and Luke McCaffrey, the most likely recipient of those shots. Very good.
Do you have a horse that you want to bet on here coming up this afternoon for everybody?
You know, I thought that you were going to mention that. So let's look to the 10th race at Keeneland here. We're about 38 minutes to post. I like the number 8 horse, Chato, on the outside, or the number 12 horse, Chato on the outside, 8-1 on the morning line. So we're looking at race number 10, Keeneland, 38 minutes away. Horse number 12, Chato, 8-1 on the morning line.
Love it. Mike, love talking to you every single Friday. Love the podcast. Love the shows that you do on the weekends with Matt Brown as well. Thank you for the time. Pleasure talking to you, and best of luck this weekend.
I appreciate it, guys. Good luck this weekend. Hopefully we can all get these Dodgers bets home. I'm on the Dodgers train with you there.
Yeah, very good. Nice. And again, ready, set, bet. Saturday and Sundays, and the contest show is at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific, with Derek Stevens, Jeff Benson. Are we going to have 20 teams selected again in Circa Survivor?
Probably.
Why not, huh?
Yeah.
How many no picks?
6.
More of the Week 7 slate coming up next. We got to find out what Paulie's Giants source is telling us this week, and there's a lot to like with their young defense, but wide receivers have killed this team this year.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
I love our next guest, longtime friend of the show, legend in the city of Cleveland, the Factory of Sadness, as I think everybody felt it again last night, even though they weren't even playing in the game, as the great Tony Rizzo joins the program now. T-Riz, thanks, buddy. We appreciate it. We played your rant a little bit earlier. I mean, what were you feeling last night when you were watching Flacco go nuts?
I couldn't go to bed. You didn't play, and you took an L. How is that even possible? You don't trade with division rivals, and you certainly don't give them a quarterback. Why the Browns want to do people favors? They built the Texans team, for God's sakes. Why they want to do people favors, I have no idea. That was as I said, a fireable offense. The Browns had never traded with the Bengals. You know this story. Paul Brown got fired by Art Modell. He started his own team. Those two teams hate each other worse than even the Steelers and Browns. Come on.
So the part that pisses you off the most, obviously, because I think we can all agree on this, right? Like, it was never going to pop like that in the Cleveland offense. Maybe you think I'm wrong with that, but it's just the fact. Like, if you want to trade the guy, fine. But Jesus, man, not inside our division.
Yeah, but guys, the Cleveland offense is the whole problem. That is their offense right now is as bad as I've ever seen. Stefanski's lost his way as a play caller and a game planner. He threw 70 times in Pittsburgh with a rookie quarterback. We're worried that they're not going to run the ball. So weather Sunday, supposed to be rain, wind. I don't think it'll be as bad as everybody says. Okay, and that stadium's not the old stadium. It'll be bad. Okay, it'll be a factor, but I don't think it'll be the factor everybody thinks it'll be 50-mile-an-hour gust. I don't see that. And it looks like the bad stuff's coming later in the day is the latest. So just FYI to all the sharps out there. The weather will be a factor, but not that big of a factor. The biggest factor is the Browns' offense stinks. They don't have any wide receivers. Do you know in Andrew Berry's tenure, he has drafted 2 pass catchers in the first 2 rounds. I'm sorry, 2 offensive players in the first 2 rounds. And one of them was Judkins this year. The last receiver that they drafted in the first round was David Njoku in 2017. Jerry Jeudy's been a bust this year. You got the kid from Texas who hasn't been able to do anything. Jamari Thrash. You have no wide receivers. Did you see what Flacco did with those 2 wide receivers last night? That's never going to happen here in Cleveland. The big concern here is Stefanski has lost his way with the offense. It's terrible.
Yeah. So if you nail this, and the last time you were on, you blew our mind because you just say, well, get ready because it'll be Sanders, and then they could even go back to Watson, and then rest assured they're going to draft a quarterback. Go ahead.
The guys, that's all coming. Hey, guys, don't forget, this is Dylan Gabriel's first home game Sunday. He hasn't been home, and he's running the worst offense in the league. What do you think? First quarter, first pick, first incompletion? Shador Sanders. No. Oh, my God. If the Browns lose, they're favored. Now, Mitch, I know you like them, and they should win, but we're just so spooked by what we have seen with this offense. One thing Miami could do is score. I know the Browns' defense is good, but the Browns can't score, Mitch. They can't. And if Miami puts up 20, that might be too many. That's where we're at with this game.
Where's the angle here? Weather's not going to be as bad as people think. But during the game, realistically, how strong are the winds going to be in your opinion? Because that could really impact the Dolphins' passing game.
Yeah, 25-30. So you have 2. By the way, this is some weird stat we laughed about. First time 2 Hawaiian left-handed quarterbacks have ever started against each other in the NFL. I can't make this stuff up, guys. Okay, I love it. Okay, so they're both, the kid, Gabriel said he liked throwing in the cold weather, and the Browns drafted him. Okay, whatever. Okay.
Oh, God.
You guys, you can't make it up. So,
No.
But that's going to be a factor. I would think they would run the ball, but I don't know. Last week in Pittsburgh, they did. Quinshon Judkins is the real deal. He is a dog. He is maybe the next Nick Chubb. Not ready to crown him yet, but he looks really good so far. Didn't run him last week. Are they going to run him Sunday? It's supposed to rain. It's supposed to be 25-mile-an-hour winds. I don't know. I can't predict this offense. Stefanski, guys, we're shocked. We all thought going back to Stefanski's offense was going to be fantastic. It's been a disaster.
Yep, is what you're talking about. Yeah, 11 games in a row, 17 points or fewer. So to me, it's just
how is that possible?
I don't know. In today's NFL, I know. Just get the ball to Fannin, though. Short stuff to Fannin and run the ball to Judkins. That's got to be the game plan on Sunday. So how loud is it then? You briefly touched on it. How loud is it then if they lose or they win like 13-10 if it's got to put – because I know you were yelling at your co-host there, Tony, about you got to put Sanders in. It's enough already. Let's see if the kid can play.
I could argue he's the best quarterback on the roster, and he hasn't played against the ones in 14 weeks. Guys, think about that. Guys, hold on. They signed Pickett. They traded him. They signed Flacco. They traded him. They reached for Dylan Gabriel in the third round. You guys saw Dylan Gabriel. God love the kid. Tough kid. Got a nice arm. He's a good backup in the league. He doesn't look like a franchise quarterback. Yeah. I don't know how anyone in this offense could look like a franchise quarterback, but whatever. Sanders. He's sitting around twiddling his thumbs. Throw him in. What have you got to lose? And by the way, I'll make this prediction. I don't know if you can get this maybe offshore. I think Deshaun Watson is going to start a game this year for the Browns.
Oh, man. Yep. I'm sure that's available.
Oh, you're paying him $40 million, and he's healthy. I don't know. We'll say it would be a last resort, and I'm not guaranteeing it. I wouldn't. It's pizza money, but it's the Browns. Who knows? Well, so they have this week Dolphins and next week Patriots, and then the bye. So if they lose bad Sunday, it'll get really ugly. But I don't think they would do anything with Stefanski. I think they'd probably wait till the bye. I don't think it makes sense to fire a coach a week before a bye. I don't know, though. I'm hearing Haslam he got his stadium stuff squared away, and he's now concentrating more on the team, and he feels a lot like me. He's very frustrated.
Well, I got news for you, Tony, and I'm backing this up with a lot of my hard-earned money. You're going to be smiling doing the post-game stuff on Sunday and also on Monday on your show because there is no way the Dolphins are going to go to Cleveland. Wow. I say no way, tongue-in-cheek. They're not winning that game. The Browns are winning this game. They have an elite defense. Tua and the infighting, they've had to apologize 6 times this week. He called them out. Yeah. McDaniel said, what the hell are you doing? Not the spot. They are down Tyreek Hill. This offense is absolutely broken. You expect this warm weather team from South Beach who has struggled the entire time on the road in weird inclement weather with Tua as the quarterback to go to Cleveland and beat this defense, and they can't stop the run to save their lives. This is Junkins, baby, all day long, and the Browns are going to dance all over this team on Sunday.
Well, Mitch, we're hoping Stefanski will do that. He once threw the ball 50 times in a 5-degree game against the Saints 2 years ago, and that's a true story. I agree with you, and that should be the game plan, but we have to see it. Taking a rookie quarterback to Pittsburgh last week and throwing the ball 58 times, Mitch, how is that even possible?
Yeah, I agree with that part.
Well said, my man. Quickly, season starts Tuesday. What do you think of the Cavs?
Can't start fast enough. So my bet is I agree with Cavs most wins in the East. I don't think the seed means as much to them as it did last year. They're not going to start 15-0. They have 2 starters out, by the way. Mm-hmm. Okay, Garland and Strus out of the 5, but they're very deep. And I think that second-year Atkinson will be really good. And I like the Cavs. I like them a lot. And I'm taking a trip in June, but I'm going to be back in time for the finals because we really think that the Cavs could be there this year. High expectations, yeah.
What could go wrong with the Cleveland sports team?
Oh, come on, man. Stop. Come on.
Hey,
boys, I'll see you. By the way, I'll be there for the Vegas game a month from now.
Very good.
I'll see you.
That's a hot ticket.
Yes, big time. We all felt the pain, man, on your rant today. We all felt the hurt inside.
Guys, I'm going to be 65 next year. Like, I know I certainly don't look that old. Har, har, har. But you know me. It takes a lot out of you, man. It takes courage to be a Browns fan, boys.
Yes,
courage.
Well said.
All right.
See you soon. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, fellas.
We only played 50 seconds of it. He said it went on for 20 minutes, and I understand. I understand. He's got all the material. He's seen it all. He's seen the drive. He's seen the Biner fumble, and now you can add this one to the list. You help out another team. You helped out the Texans, and now you helped out the Bengals. At least you gave the Bengals life and a chance with Flacco fever. And like he said, Tomlin knew. Tomlin made the comments. I don't know what Andrew Barry's doing, but it's and then Flacco lights him up. So, I mean, this is wild. I mean, it sounds like another quarterback change or two, and maybe Stefanski gone during the bye week. If you listen to him.
Well, I hope that he's absolutely dead wrong, because it's my biggest bet of the entire year to date in the NFL. I love the Browns on Sunday. Love them.
That's a problem, though. They're concerned that the coach won't run the ball in the cold weather with the rookie quarterback.
Yeah, we don't need to see that. Right? Like, the table is set. They can't stop the run.
Yes.
You know what the recipe here is.
Yes.
Upset alert in college football coming up next on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.